Grab some wood bun-shaped table legs. Take one of the wood legs and with some pliers unscrew the screw from the leg. Take a second bun foot and screw it into the vacant hole of the first foot. Take the third bun foot and remove its screw as well. With a spade drill bit, I used a 7/8 inch bit, and drill a hole about 3/4 to 1 inch deep. With the large drilled hole on top, glue the third bun foot to the top of the other two stacked bun feet. Stain your new candle holder by brushing wood stain onto the wood and then wiping away the excess stain with a cloth. Place a taper candle into the candle holder and enjoy the warm glow of your new candlestick decor. Grab a single chunky wood table leg. While you're at it, grab a 12-inch wood round. Remove the screw from the bottom of the wood leg with a pair of pliers. Cut up an old white t-shirt, cotton works best, into small cloths. Then elevate the wood round and the table leg so they are up off the table. Dip one of your white rags into the wood stain and wipe it across the top of the wood round. Apply with the wood grain for an even coat. Wipe any excess away with the cloth. Because the leg has more details to the wood, you may need to wipe the stain into the nooks and crannies of the wood. Once dry, flip the table leg upside down and glue to the center of the wood round. This means you're attaching the most narrow end of the table leg to the center of the wood round. Display it with candles and greenery for a cozy decor display in your home.
Next time you are at a big box store or a dollar store, pick up some colorful faux flowers, a couple of bottles of clear Elmer's glue, some clear glass decorative pebbles, and a glass vase. Pour the clear Elmer's glue into the glass vase. Next, drop the clear pebbles into the clear glue so they are evenly distributed through the glue. Take your floral stems and arrange them in the glue-filled vase as if it was filled with water. It will take a while, but the glue will eventually dry and you will have a beautiful floral arrangement to use any time of year. Grab some styrofoam discs at your dollar store. While you are there, pick up some faux greenery stems and a plastic planter pot. If you want to change the color of the pot, spray paint it with your chosen color. Next, take the styrofoam discs and start to glue them one at a time to the bottom of the painted pot. Simply stack the discs as you glue them. Cut apart the different stems of your faux greenery. Then stick the different stems into the styrofoam tower inside the pot. Fan the stems out so they fill the pot. To complete the look, place some Spanish moss around the stems. Don't forget to add some to the inner spaces between the stems. Now you can enjoy the beauty of indoor plants in your home with no thought to required light. Next time you are at Walmart, grab a large plastic bowl or pasta bowl and a cereal bowl. Flip the large bowl over and apply a ring of clear adhesive glue around the perimeter of the bowl bottom. Place the bottom of the cereal bowl on top of the glue to secure the two bowls together. If you want, take some decorative rope and hot glue it around the center where the two bowls meet. Flip the two bowls over so the larger bowl is on the top. Fill this bowl with water and add some floating candles. Light the candles and enjoy a beautiful candle display on your coffee table any time of day or night. Grab a waste paper can at a big box store that has a flat bottom. Spray paint it any color you want, but black is always a good choice. Don't worry about spraying the inside of the can as it won't be seen. 2 coats of spray paint should be enough to cover it. Flip the painted trash can upside down and glue a melamine charger plate to the bottom of the can with the plate right side up. Once secure, apply clear adhesive glue to the perimeter of the charger plate. Center a woven placemat on top of the charger and press down to glue it to the plate. You've created a charming side table that can be easily moved to any location in your home. I hope this inspired you to take some inexpensive supplies from a big box store or dollar store and create fun home decor that you can display anywhere in your home. There are lots of ways to decorate your home with things you already have. Did you know that your toothbrush holder is really great home decor? Cut small stems of faux flowers and tuck them into the top openings of a toothbrush holder. Use 3 different types of flowers or stems for a beautiful floral arrangement for a bookshelf or table. Woven storage baskets aren't just for storage anymore. Hammer a small nail into the wall and hang basket number 1, number 2, and number 3 in whatever arrangement you like. This is perfect for storing bathroom essentials within easy reach. Take 2 woven tissue boxes and some round puck lights with a remote control. Glue the bottom of a puck light to the inside of a tissue box so it is centered over the whole of the box. Do the same for the second tissue box as well. Make sure the glue dries and the puck lights are securely attached to the boxes. Run some hot glue around the top of one of the tissue boxes. Then, flip the other tissue box upside down and attach it to the glued top of the other box. Hammer a nail into the wall, hang your new sconce on the wall, and turn the lights on with the remote. Instant wall sconce. Next time you're at the dollar store, pick up a couple of charger plates and a margarita glass. Start by spray painting the charger plates in a favorite color. I ended up needing 3 coats of spray paint to fully cover the melamine chargers in my favorite navy blue. I went back to the dollar store and picked up some melamine plates in the outdoors section. They're slightly smaller than the charger plates. I spray painted these the same color as the charger plates and let them dry completely. Next, cut apart the bead strands so that you have individual loose beads. Take one of the charger plates and with a hot glue gun, glue 4 beads equidistant apart in the center of the plate. Put some hot glue onto the tops of those wood beads and press the bottom of the second charger plate on top. Initially, I took each of the wood beads and with a little hot glue, glued them side by side at a slight angle into the crevice between the 2 charger plates, creating a bead band around the 2 chargers. This was a good start, but I figured out an easier way that was less messy and I was less prone to get hot glue on my fingers. My solution? A popsicle stick. This takes a little more time, but it really is so much easier to line up and glue the beads. Remember that margarita glass? Apply a ring of hot glue onto the bottom of the glass and toward the edge. Press the glass to the center of the beaded charger plates until it's secure. Then apply a thin band of hot glue to the rim of the glass. Take the smaller beaded plates and press them onto the center of the glass. Style your new beaded tiered tray with real or faux plants, coasters, small jars, flowers, or any other home decor items that you love. I hope this inspired you to create your own beaded tiered tray with some simple plates, beads, and a margarita glass.
Grab a wood dowel rod that is 1 1/8 inch in diameter and a set of 2 wood finials. On the end of each of the dowel rods, drill a hole that is centered and about 1 inch deep. Take both the dowel rod and the 2 finials and spray paint them in a color of your choosing. It works best if you spray several light coats for even coverage. Once everything is dry, screw in the finials to the end of the rod to make sure they fit. Now take a couple of simple J-hooks. Take a couple of wrenches and pull so the J-hook opening is just a little bit wider. Now take these J-hooks and screw them into the wall with a drill above a window. You may need to use a screwdriver to tighten them into the wall. To give your room a sense of added height, place the hooks so they are closer to the ceiling rather than closer to the window. With 1 finial removed from the dowel rod, thread 2 curtain panels onto the rod and then screw the finial back on. Hang the drapery rod and curtain panels onto the J-hooks in the wall. Depending on the size of your window, you may need to hang 1 or 2 of the curtain tabs on the outside edge of the J-hooks so the curtain looks even across the top of the rod. You now have a classic drapery rod for hanging curtains for just a few dollars and very little invested time.
Grab a can of shaving cream and a lampshade. Shake up a can of shaving cream and spray it into an aluminum tray that has sides. Using a squeegee, smooth out the shaving cream in the tray. Next, prepare your dye colors. You can use ready mixed or mix it yourself. Using a dropper, I used a turkey baster. Drop bits of the dye onto the top of the smooth shaving cream. Take your lampshade and slowly roll the shade in the dye-covered shaving cream. Once you are satisfied with the color of the shade, rinse the shade thoroughly with water in the sink.
We are going to make some beautiful home decor items using clear Elmer's glue. We are going to fill this vase with the clear glue. Then we're going to add in some clear and white decorative pebbles. Now I'm going to grab some faux flowers. Now I'm just going to stick these into that glue. Once you've got them arranged just right, set this aside and let it dry.
Take a bowl and cover the bottom in plastic wrap. Next, use a sponge brush and Mod Podge. Cover the entire bowl base with Mod Podge on the plastic wrap. Take rope and begin from the center of the base and wind it around towards the outer part of the bowl. Once completely dry, remove rope layer from the bowl and any excess plastic wrap.
What I did was I laid out some cardboard, spray painted it a couple of times to make both boards the exact same length. You're gonna take your first hula hoop that's already painted, and you're gonna set it on top of the boards. Then what we're gonna do is drill through all four corners here. You're gonna put one of your hooks in with it. Make sure it's facing up and you'll screw it through it. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Now what we're gonna do is turn it around and do the other side. We're gonna take a little bit of dab of glue right next to the screw, take the rope and just gently wrap it around the loop.
You know all those lonely donated lampshades? Pick up a matching pair. Pick up a thrifted belt. Run a bead of clear glue around the perimeter. Take the other lampshade, place it on top of the other lampshade, take some jute twine and tie the inner hardware of the two lamps together. Give the connected shades a little shake to make sure they are securely connected. Take the belt and buckle it around the skinny center of the two lampshades. Add a little glue to the loose end of the belt and secure it to the rest of the belt. Find a thin wood circle disc. Paint the edge with some acrylic paint. And peel and stick wallpaper is perfect for this project. Next time you are at Walmart, grab a large plastic bowl or pasta bowl and a cereal bowl. Flip the large bowl over and apply a ring of clear adhesive glue around the perimeter of the bowl bottom to secure the two bowls together. Take some decorative rope and hot glue it around the center where the two bowls meet. Fill this bowl with water and add some floating candles.
Today's project starts with a pool noodle. We're going to take a piece of duct tape and use that to hold it in place. Once we got our three rings together, we're going to stack them up. Once I get that, I'm going to cut some more pool noodles and they're going to stack inside. We need them to be level with the top. Start on the outside and work your way to the end. Now you're going to start on one end and go ahead and slice your tape and put it on the bottom. Go across the three pool noodles, across the top, down the bottom. We're actually going to need to cover the whole thing in duct tape because we're going to need to apply some hot glue to it. And then right in the middle, I'm going to put a first dab of hot glue. I'm going to take this rope right here, this cotton rope, and go ahead and put it on there.
Grab a waste paper can that has a flat bottom. Spray paint it any color you want. Flip the painted trash can upside down and glue a melamine charger plate. Once secure, apply clear adhesive glue to the perimeter. Center a woven placemat on top of the charger.
Let's head over to Dollar Tree and we're going to grab a paper towel holder. Let's all run down to the hardware store and grab us a wood round. Gotta sand the edges. Got to condition the wood. Let it dry about 30 minutes to an hour. Once it dries, it's time to put on some stain. We're going to get 3 of those paper towel holders and we're going to set them in place. What we need to do is paint them. Once we get it all painted, let it dry. Now we got to curve the edges a little bit and bend them. Don't bend them too far, just get them a little 20 degrees and we're going to do all 3 at the same angle. Now we're going to put them in place on the bottom of our wood round. And I'm going to take these little electric hooks that I got out of the hardware store and I'm going to put 4 all the way around each side of these circles here. And once I got them marked, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill. I'm going to go ahead and put little tiny screws in and hold these clips in place. And I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue. And then I'm going to take some twine. I'm going to set it there and then I'm going to start wrapping it all the way around.
ripped down all the fabric off of my lampshade. So I'm gonna take it outside and give it a quick spray paint. And then after that, I decided I needed to spray paint one more thing, and that was a mason jar sealing part of the lid that I'm gonna use later on. I'm gonna take this wood slice, I'm gonna give this a good coat of sealer. I'm also gonna do like the live edges. And once that's all sealed, it's gonna be time to grab that mason jar lid and drill a tiny hole in the middle. And now it's time to assemble. I have some E6000 industrial glue that I'm putting in a little hole where like a finial for a lamp would go. And that's where I'm gonna kind of adhere that mason jar sealer. I'm going to put some more E6000 glue along the rim here. So I'll go ahead and set that down, got it in place, and now it's time to drill. It's all good, gonna flip it up.
You want to pick up 2 bowls. Make sure they are ceramic or glass and that they are heat proof. I took them home and I'm going to give them a coat of spray paint. Once the paint is dry, these bowls have a really nice textured look. I'm just going to use some really strong glue to adhere them together. In the top bowl, I am going to add 3 wicks. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue to secure them to the bottom. Then I'm going to grab 2 wooden skewers and wrap the wick around the skewers. This is just going to hold everything in place. Great way to make your own candles is to reuse existing candle wax. I have a couple of these Dollar Tree tall pillar candles, and I'm going to place them in some boiling water. Now make sure you're wearing gloves. These can get really hot. And I'm just going to gently boil this until all the wax is melted. Pour the wax from all the candles into a metal container with a handle. I'm opting to add a little essential oil for some scent. And now we're just gonna pour that melted wax. Then you're gonna wanna walk away for about 24 hours. When it is completely set, you can trim the wicks down and use your candle.
Time to break out of jail. That is, the Walmart ball jail. You also need some green reindeer moss. Start by spray painting the Walmart ball with moss green spray paint. Separate the large pieces and stretch out any chunks that are thick. With a can of general spray adhesive, spritz a small portion of the ball with the adhesive. Take a small patch of green moss and press it onto the ball in the sticky area. Press and hold for a few seconds to make sure it sticks. Continue to spray the ball and attach the green moss to the outside. Once you cover the entire ball with spray adhesive and moss, give the entire moss-covered ball an overall coat of the spray adhesive.
We're going to start today's DIY with a remote-controlled light bulb. So we're going to take that little holster and we're going to glue that to the top with hot glue. And then we're going to put in our light bulb. We're going to take a clamp so that we can add that on top in order to hold your lampshade. Take that finial piece, screw that back on so it's nice and snug.
I grabbed glassware from the thrift store and mixed Mod Podge with food coloring and then covered it on the outside of the glass. Make sure to apply an even thin coat so it doesn't drip. When they were completely dry, I applied a second coat and let that dry overnight. I melted some old tapered candles. I wrapped the wick around a wood skewer and placed it over top. Next, I poured the hot wax into each glass and let it cool.
We are going to make some beautiful home decor items using clear Elmer's glue. We are going to fill this vase with the clear glue. Then we're going to add in some clear and white decorative pebbles. Now I'm going to grab some faux flowers. Now I'm just going to stick these into that glue. Once you've got them arranged just right, set this aside and let it dry.
Quick trip to my local Dollarama. Separate the layers, cut the napkin so that you have enough to cover the body of the jar. Now I'm using some clear glue mixed with a tiny amount of water, paint it onto the side of the glass jar. Then lay down the paper nap and then using a piece of scrunched up plastic wrap, use that to pat down the napkin and eliminate any wrinkles that way. Draw around the lid because that will be the right size and cut out the piece of napkin, stick it to the bottom of the jar in the same way. Using the same process, cut out a circle for the top and a little strip for the edge and stick it in place. When it was dry, I decided to give it 2 coats of a gloss varnish. I have taken a battery operated puck light and stuck it into the lid of the glass jar.
We need a skinny roll of tape. And we also need some clear Elmer's glue. And our template for today is going to be an outside window. We got to put some of that tape on the window. Now you can go ahead and take the tape and mask it to the grid that's already on the window, or you can just go random like I'm doing it. But the next step to this is we're going to grab that Elmer's glue. Once we get some paint in there, all you got to do is just go back and forth with it, and it shakes up really nice. Next, move on to your second color. These are our 4 colors we're going to go with. Now, because it's on the Elmer's glue, it's actually non-toxic, and I used a foam brush to transfer it to the window. It's going to take multiple coats, but the glue and the paint dries really fast. You can actually put a coat on within an hour after you put it on. Once it dries overnight, you're going to take a knife and very gently, we don't want to scratch the window. If you try to pull the tape with it out using the knife, it may pull the glue off. Just go ahead and start pulling the tape off. It's another thing. When you're done with this and you want to change it or just take it off later, it peels right off.
We are going to grab a couple glass mason jars. You're going to grab a small dish and you're going to fill it with clear glue and a little bit of water. I used about 2 tablespoons of glue and about 1 tablespoon of water. Then I'm going to drop in a little bit of food coloring. Then stir it up until it's mixed really well. Grab your mason jar, make sure it's nice and clean. Pour that dark blue mixture into the jar and swirl it around so it covers everything. Once you've swirled it all around, you can dump the excess back into the original container. Now we want to let this drip for a little bit. Let it drip for about 10 minutes. Take a paper towel, wipe off any excess drips that are around the rim of the jar. Then place this upside down on a piece of parchment paper. Pop it in your oven at 175 for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, take it out, turn it right side up, and let it cool completely. I'm going to take the piece of glass out and I'm going to draw a grid of squares and rectangles with black puffy paint. When that's done, I want to let that dry completely. So I'm going to use a little bit of clear glue and a few drops of paint. So on that piece of glass where we added the puffy paint, when it's completely dry, I'm just going to use a popsicle stick and transfer some of those beautiful blue colors onto the glass. But a little goes a long way because you don't want this to run over the black line. Once everything is done, you can grab a toothpick and go back and just pop any of those bubbles that are in there. Then set this aside and just let it be.
Grab some Elmer school glue for this renter-friendly project. First, I gave my window a really good cleaning. Grab some masking tape to mask out an abstract design, and then I'm going to take my Elmer's glue and pour it straight into the tray. Then I just rolled my glue onto the window. I removed that masking tape before the Elmer's glue could dry.
Carpet in my office needed to be replaced, but it just wasn't in the budget. But torn and crumpled paper was. Mixing equal parts of glue and water, I made the paste for the floor. Using a wide paintbrush, I applied the glue to the floor, making sure I got underneath the baseboards. Then I laid down the paper and brushed the glue on top. I continued to apply the glue to the floor, then the torn paper, and then more glue over top of the torn paper. I switched out my brush for a foam roller to cover larger areas, but I kept the brush to use underneath the baseboard. After the glue dried, I applied stain to the floor using a foam roller. After the stain dried, I applied coat after coat of polyurethane. Using a lamb's wool applicator made this process so easy.
I made a trip to my local dollar store. Taking a terracotta pot, I draw a very random shape. Taking the clear glue, I pour some onto the side of the pot, picking up some of the blue gravel and pat it down. I then put some of the silver glitter glue around the edge. I'm going to stick these grasses and weeds to this glass. Cut off these extra bits on the bottom. Now I'm going to stick the tissue paper to the vase. I'm going to use a glue stick and then just rolling it, pulling it tight on this side, some more glue down and gently stick that in place too. I'm going to go around and just trim .
Head to the thrift store and pick up a set of matching glasses. I'm grabbing a block of candle wax. I'm gonna take this all to the stove, let it melt completely. I'm gonna set it aside and let it cool. I'm going to add wicks to these glasses. Now I can pour the wax into each candle, and I'm gonna let this set for a full 24 hours. Grab a candlestick, grab yourself a little container, and pour in some Mod Podge. Then you're gonna add a few drops of food coloring and just apply a coat over the entire outside of the candlestick. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of blue and then make another candlestick. The glass is covered. Just set these aside for an hour or two.
So we're going to start with this cellophane piece here. So I'm going to make the line here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Put a clear dot, or you can run a clear line. And next, I'm going to go ahead and place the cellophane onto the glue and glass. So I'll go ahead and continue putting the glue and the cellophane up on all the windows.
So I put 2 spoons of cornstarch and 2 spoons of Elmer's glue, and that's what we're looking for. I'm going to use this really lovely mandala stencil. Going very carefully, I'm now going to apply it. The whole stencil is covered, and now for the moment of truth. Very, very, very carefully lift this off. This is the next day now. I left it overnight to dry. Also sanded it very lightly. Okay, just going to give it one coat, then leave that to dry now.
I took the table apart, separating the glass from the metal ring. Laid the glass on top of the picture. I mixed 2 parts white glue to 1 part black craft paint. I outlined the sun. And once the lines had dried, I cleaned up any lines that were too thick by cutting them away using a utility knife. I painted the background using a 1-inch wide brush. I added designs to each panel. I gave the paint 2 coats of spray sealant. I used a medium grit sanding sponge. I painted the metal bright blue.